it says that we are now live, and we'll wait
Excellent.
just a couple more minutes until the top of the hour. I show 1 minute until the top of the hour,
Okay.
and hopefully folks will be joining us, but it does say that we are live. I'm going to just look real quick on my phone at our certified personality trainer page and see if we're there.
Okay. Sounds good.
There it is. There we are. We are there. So
Excellent.
that's a very good thing.
In general, I've noticed a lot of people tend to not be early, but I think now more than ever, people are having trouble knowing what time it is, what day it is, because routines are so off.
Yeah, it just one day just kind of blends right into the next day.
For sure.
So yeah, we'll get started, and in just a few seconds here, we'll officially start.
That's good.
And it's just wonderful that we have this technology available for us. Oh, good. We've got a few people joining us in, and so yes, we are live, and it is now the top of the hour. Time for us to start with this special training that we offer here on the Certified Personality Trainer Facebook page. We're in the process of redoing a website for Wired That Way for thepersonalities.com. And I assume that we will take these previous training videos that we have done off of the Certified Personality Trainer Facebook page and put them onto our new website that we're in the process of developing and hope to have ready within about a month. So that's exciting to have that available. As a part of that, we're also going to have primarily a new online store, and we will have uh, online personality profile. The Wired That Way personality assessment will be available electronically within about a month. Now, I see that we've got some people joining us here, and that's great. For you all that are joining us, I see we have 6 people with us at the moment. And from what I can see, my view, it says Facebook user. And so if you want to ask a question, and I thought, let me just play with this here for just a second, because I thought that I had some text lined up to go across the screen here, but maybe I need to do this. We'll see if that works. I have no idea. This
Cool. Looks good.
technology there we go. There, we got it. I've got it working now. Okay. So, well, one of them worked. Let's see.
Nope, it was there. Yeah, it's back.
There we go. Okay, perfect. Love it when a system comes together. So thank you all for joining us today here on the Certified Personality Trainer Facebook page. And these are certainly different times that we are all living through with this coronavirus quarantine. And Vickie Musni is with me, and when I put out a call saying, does anyone want to do a training on our Facebook page, because people are home, so why not take advantage of this opportunity to broaden your skills? So Vickie sent me a video that she had done previously for her own purposes on this topic, on how the different personalities respond in this time of crisis. And so I asked her to join us here for that as well. So Vickie, as we start this morning, you're a certified personality trainer, and you told me, the
Yeah.
last personality training workshop that we did, where you did your final presentation in my mother's living room in Las Vegas. And you've been speaking on this topic for the past 10 years, correct? So we're
At
going to
least 10. I just
benefit
looking
from
back
the
at maybe 7 now.
Okay. I don't
So we
remember
have a little
how
bit of a
long
delay.
it's been since we had. Oh yeah, okay. We'll have to just deal with that. Okay, so Vickie, tell us how you. Well, let me back up for just a moment. What I see in my group of friends, my girlfriends, is that based on our individual personalities, we're responding very differently to this whole quarantine thing. And I want to get into how we're responding at home, but I want to get first about how we respond differently to the rules. Like, do we stay at home? Do we not stay at home? Do we meet with anybody? Do we not meet with anybody? You know, what personalities are the rule makers? And before Vickie starts, I just want to remind people that in using the ideas of the personalities, we encourage people to use whichever terminology works the best in your environment. Obviously, for me, I grew up with the Greek being second nature in our household. That means sanguine, choleric, melancholy, and phlegmatic. As I got more involved in the personality teaching, I added to that modern day adjectives: powerful, popular, perfect, and peaceful. And I also added to that colors that represent each personality type. And I welcome people to use whichever terms work the best for you. And Vickie, for you in your environment, you use primarily the colors. And so I just want people to know that, because that's what's natural and normal for you in your teaching. So I want people to know that as we go along, that they may need to do a little bit of translation based on what they're used to. So Vickie, welcome. Thanks for joining us. And how do you find that the different personality types respond to the edict that we must stay home?
Thank you, Marita. Thanks for having me. And I love this question because I want to start by saying it's not super cut and dried. We all know that these are general guidelines, but we're not trying to put everyone in a box and say that every person in this personality type is going to respond exactly this way. We all know this. And I think some of the other factors, like where you live, how many people you know who have been directly impacted by the virus. If you've lost someone close to you, regardless of your personality, you were probably much more likely to be following the rules in the extreme. So like backing up from that, assuming there's not those extreme circumstances. In general, I would say what I call the blues and the greens, the introverts, they're dealing with it much better. A stay-at-home order to them, a lot of them, is a dream come true. I don't have to go interact with people. I'm okay to just sit at home. I can work on my couch in my pajamas. I mean, that's the dream to a green. And then in blues too, they have plenty of time to analyze, to make spreadsheets about things that make them, you know, feel more in control of the situation. So it's a little bit easier for them. The extroverts like me, and I'm like a lot like Marita, I'm a half red, half yellow personality type. It's a lot harder because I need other people to get my energy. So for me, I'm not really very happy about it. And yes, because I'm a mom and I care about my children and I do care about the general well-being and I want my business to get back on track, I am trying my best to follow the rules. But what I've seen is that the yellows and then even the greens, because they're the other people personality, are a little bit more likely to fudge it. And well, if I'm just going to go see this one friend, how bad could it be? And oh, you know, maybe that won't be quite so bad. And oh, well, we'll stay 6 feet apart. But really, when we get there, it's like, oh, I just need a hug so bad. And then you'll hug, and then they're like, okay, now I'll talk to you from 6 feet apart. So I think the yellows are probably having the hardest time. We're not naturally great with rules anyways. And then we need people. So being told that we're not supposed to be around our people is really difficult for us. Reds, I've seen kind of two main things happen, because remember, they're the ones that are driven by a need for being in control. So the idea of someone else imposing a rule or an edict on you is not comfortable, to say the least. So some Reds will rebel and be like, nobody's going to tell me what to do. And then other ones will, especially the ones, like I said, that have more impact or are closer to the danger up close, and they've seen the havoc personally that it's wreaking, and they want to follow the rules, they tend to become the self-reliant ones, and they want to do something still, but they'll follow the rules. So they're the ones that are making the masks and making their own hand sanitizer and, you know, doing what they can while still following the rules, but trying to stay in control of the situation. But yeah, I think the blues and the greens, the introverts, have it a little bit easier than those of us that are, you know, really craving that interaction. And depending on where you fall in that scale, you're going to fudge it.
I like how you said that those of us who are the yellow or the popular sanguine, that we are not natural rule followers. And so we tend to think, oh, well, it won't matter. It won't matter if some of my friends, I'm like at the grocery store every other day. I'm very pleased with myself that I didn't go to the grocery store yesterday, and I've come up with something for dinner tonight that requires that I don't have to go to the grocery store today, but I for sure have to go tomorrow. And some of my other friends are like, they don't go to the grocery store at all. They have it all delivered. They haven't left the house. I started a new remodeling project yesterday. And, for me, other than that my mother stays home all the time, it hasn't created a huge amount of change in my life. So, Vickie, one of the things that we talk about with the personalities that I think makes them really unique is the application and how to use knowledge of the personalities in your relationships with other people. I always talk about how this is not just a label you put on somebody. It's not about labels. It's about relationships. So how do you see that this current pandemic, this quarantine, these stay-at-home orders are impacting the personalities differently? And how can we use this knowledge to improve relationships with those that we care about?
That's probably my favorite question, even when there's not a pandemic, is how do we use this knowledge to improve relationships? And when I do this, I'm working primarily with business owners and professionals that are trying to apply this information to the workplace. And sometimes people will see the light bulb go on and they'll be like, oh my gosh, now I understand at home. But I think the same principles really apply. If you can train yourself and the people that you're coaching and training that understand the personalities to do that, if you can train them to do the same thing, we're all going to be better. And that is to look at the other person and try to figure out what drives them. And to me, that's what makes this system my favorite, and the reason this is the one I teach out of all of the personality systems that are out there. This is the one I feel like does the best job of getting at the heart of how people are wired. Yes, it's a great name, but how we think, how we function, what drives us. And so instead of, when I'm teaching business, I'm telling people, well, if you're trying to work on your sales, I'm teaching you, okay, find out what motivates that other person that you're trying to sell to and speak to that need. If I'm training on marketing, I'm saying, think about your ideal personality profile of your ideal client and use words and phrases that are going to resonate with that person. It's the same principle. Think about the person that you're trying to reach. Maybe it's someone that you were quarantined with and you're trying to just survive all of this extra closeness. Maybe it's someone that you care about, that you are separated from geographically and you can't spend time with, but you still really care about them. So ask yourself, how can I best serve this unique personality type? So for the yellows, our main inner needs, like the thing that drives us, is fun and attention and being around people. That's, we're the natural storytellers. And so we need that. If you've got a yellow in your life, chances are really good that they are struggling right now. So if there's anything that you can do to create fun or help put them in the spotlight. Like, I can't even tell you how I lit up when Marita asked me to do this interview. It gave me a reason to get up and take a shower and put a nice shirt on that has buttons and put lipstick on because, oh my goodness, I get to interact with people, virtually, but still, this is the closest I'm getting these days to people. So find a way, if you're trying to speak to a yellow or a popular sanguine, find a way to create something fun, even if it's sending them a funny meme, sending a joke, getting online. I've been doing a lot more virtual hangouts with people and just chatting and pretending we're at a coffee shop or a restaurant together, and we'll bring our own food and beverages and sit in front of the screen and chat. Do that for those people. They need that right now. They need it. Now,
my girlfriends and I did a virtual happy hour last night.
Yes, absolutely.
We had like 9 of us on the screen at one time in Zoom, and we enjoyed getting together. In fact, someone has commented here, and for those of you who are commenting, it would help me if you put your name, because what I see on the screen is Facebook user. So it would help me if you put your name on the screen as well with your comments. But someone says, yes, Sanguine here. I'm having a great time making bread and finding fun things to do. I have a friend living with me, so I'm not alone. But we've cleaned closets, found chocolate in the freezer. On the 2 hours I'm allowed out. Now, I don't know where you live, where you have 2 hours you're allowed out, but we don't have that strict rules here in Lubbock. But anyway, on the 2 hours I'm allowed out, I use up every minute visiting friends and taking them food. I've loved this time. On to my next book. So that's how that Sanguine is making use of this time and going to visit friends and finding chocolate in the freezer.
Yeah. Well,
so
I
go
joke
ahead,
that I
Vickie,
see a lot of people that are using this. Sorry, we've got this weird delay. I don't mean to talk over you, but
yeah, I know it makes it a little hard.
I see so many people.
The person who made these comments is Amanda Rankin, who lives in Panama.
Nice. Very fun. Thanks for sharing that, Amanda. I relate to that, except for the cleaning part. I see comments on Facebook and things, and all these people that they're using this time to clean and organize, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that is so not me. I am way too yellow for that. And I wish that anyone in my household was wired that way, but we have zero blues. My dad was a blue, though, so he's really my lens in terms of personal experience for dealing with that blue personality type. So there's not a whole lot of order here, and now that everybody is home all the time, even our daughter that lives in New York, we flew her to Reno for 2 weeks a month ago, and she's still here with us. So we've got all 6 of us under one roof again, and it's tough. But when I look at, like, if you've got a blue in your home or in your life that you're trying to support, I've seen my blue friends, like I said, talking about cleaning and organizing. Join in on the project if that's what they are needing you to do with them, or give them their space and just let them do their thing. Now, the spreadsheets is the one that is the biggest struggle for me. I am not a spreadsheet person. My unofficial motto is spreadsheets make me cry, but I've seen friends talking about how with their blue spouse or roommate, they have made spreadsheets about all of the inventory of supplies they have in their home, all of the food they have in the closet, and how long things are going to last. And they've got these predictions and calculations, and they know exactly what they need. And that makes them feel better. So if you've got a blue and that spreadsheets is kind of their language, do that with them. You know, some part of me wishes that I had someone that did that. We just kind of opened the pantry and we're like, yep, there's food in there. I think we'll be good for a while. And oh, thank goodness we found toilet paper at Sam's Club. We're okay now. It was kind of scary. We got down to about 7 rolls a few weeks ago, or a week ago, and there were 6 of us in the house. So I was kind of trying to do the math, but I'm not great at numbers. But think about what those blues need. They need order and they need perfection. So whatever you can do to support their quest for order, sometimes that means quiet, just giving them a little extra space. If you've got to be having the noise and you're doing your Zoom chats, do it in a different room so that they can read their book or clean their closet or whatever it is that they need to do. But just check in on them. And even how you're checking in, maybe you're phrasing the questions differently. If you're trying to, get to the heart of what matters to them, how are you feeling with the supplies that you have on hand? What are your projections? What do you see the forecast for your needs being? Is there something I can do for you? Even if you're personally not forecasting in that level of detail, you can phrase it in a way that will speak to their little blue heart and help them know that you understand that matters to them and that they need to have that level of order. So that's how I would suggest taking care of the blues and using that. Phrase your questions differently and join them in the level that they ask you of whatever it is that is making them have the peace and order that they need in their lives. Did you want to add
maturity? that takes a level of maturity to be able to step outside of who you are and what your natural personality is, and then be able to look at who they are and rethink of how to look at these things. And that takes a level of, as I said, maturity, but also a level of caring, because it is harder to change your way of looking at things and try to look at it from that other person's perspective. So let me read one more comment here before you go on. Marilyn Mansfield, who I know is, she says in Dallas, she says she's a yellow and she's really struggling with motivation. We live in Dallas, but are quarantined on our ranch 80 miles out of Dallas. Not a soul around, no TV, no Wi-Fi, and she's sleeping a lot. So I don't know if you have no Wi-Fi, Marilyn. How are you communicating with us today? Maybe you're on a mobile hotspot, but we're glad to have you with us, Marilyn.
Yep. Yeah, I would go crazy if I couldn't just hop on the computer and at least Zoom with friends. Wow, I feel for you, Marilyn. I really do. And thank you for joining us today. And you are probably sucking up a lot of data, which is precious right now. So thank you for spending time with us. Yeah. And what you said about the maturity, Marita, I mean, that's why we do what we do, right? Our whole goal is to help others learn how to train themselves to think of others differently. We default, the untrained and then the undisciplined, we default to our operation mode that, oh, everybody thinks and acts like we do. Okay, when you step back, you realize, you remind yourself, nope. And every time I teach this, I'm reminding myself of these things too. I don't do this perfectly every time. So that's part of why I love teaching, especially when it comes to blues, because like I said before, I don't have any in my own immediate family. And so I have the least amount of practice with that. So when I'm working with the blue on a committee or someone at church or whoever it is, even one of my brothers or my dad, you know, I have to remind myself they are not like me, like at all not like me. And I have to really work to rephrase things carefully and try my best to meet their unique needs. So let's move on to the red personality. That's the other half of mine. I'm a 50-50 split red-yellow. And this has been a unique struggle for me too, because as a red, I'm naturally a doer. I'm used to doing things a certain way, though. For me, that means out working, running my family business. It means traveling. It means out taking care of people, checking in on my employees. And all of that came to a screeching halt a month ago. So as a red, I've been looking for projects. And when I have something that I can do to help someone, to encourage someone, that gives me a new purpose, because otherwise I feel like what Marilyn just said, that struggling with motivation. If I don't have the social motivation that feeds my yellow side, or the practical motivation of being efficient or doing something that accomplishes something that my red side needs, I am lost. So if you've got a red person in your life, help them find a project. We need it. If they found one, join in with them, support them on it. Little projects, big projects, it doesn't really matter. My family business, we run a trivia company. We work with local restaurants and bars in our area. And it broke my heart when our business stopped, because I knew that all of my clients were affected. We were doing live hosted trivia games at 21 different venues all over Northern Nevada until a month ago. And I have, I think, 6 of my clients that are even open partially for carryout. The rest of them are completely closed. So that means every employee, every server that we've worked with for years, who my business was helping them get their best night and their most tips, they are out of work. And when I heard an idea that I could do something that would help them, and we created a database online where people could register those that are working at the restaurants and bars that are not able to work right now, and we could have them opt in, and then other people could still send them tips and find them online. I was like, great, this is amazing. I had a project and I just poured myself into that, and I needed that. So if your red friend or family member is struggling, help them find something they can do. Reds are doers. And if they're missing the motivation on their own, if they've kind of crossed into that more of a depressed state, and I don't mean that I'm not trying to diagnose anybody, but if they're just really struggling, help them do something. Reds need to feel valued, needed, like they're accomplishing something, and meet them where they are. Maybe just saying, you know what, I've got this project that I've been thinking about and I don't know quite what to do. Would you be willing to come alongside and help me? Even if it wasn't their passion project, the fact that you need them might be what kind of brings them back to having a purpose and giving them a chance to interact. Even if it's all online, help, obviously done at a safe distance, but maybe those extra Zoom calls, those extra meetings, and the extra act of doing is going to be what really helps them.
Yeah, it's interesting, as I'm like you, half sanguine, half powerful choleric. And I woke up days ago. Last week, I didn't have a big project. And I woke up a few days ago, and I've been sleeping late. Well, not sleeping late, staying in bed late. I read. I lie in bed and I read. And it's because I have nothing to do. What am I going to do today? And as I lay there in bed reading, I thought, oh, well, I need to do this, and I need to do this, and I need to do this. And once I came up with like a mental to-do list for myself, then I was like, okay, and I got up and I got to work and I was in a much better mood. But I'd been kind of like in a funk, just lying in bed reading a book because I didn't have any projects that I needed to do that day. And I've done a lot of projects. I've cleaned out my closet. I've given away clothes. I've cleaned up my office. I've even been cleaning up my office, kind of tried to pretend that I'm moving, because when you move, you throw away a lot more stuff. So I kind of pretend, okay, do I really need this? I haven't quite tackled the kitchen or the refrigerator yet, but my personal space right here is much better.
We did the pantry last week, which was really helpful because it was part of that needing to take inventory and making sure we knew what was in there, but it also just needed to be done. And my husband put new shelf paper in, so that was really good. But the funny thing to me, I loved having the project done, but I'm married to an introvert. He's a green, and he just wanted to do it by himself. And so I'm like, oh, well, okay, I guess I won't even help, but I'll help you. I know where the shelf paper is. I can help with that. But he honestly his alone time. And that brings me back to that last personality who I used to get teased. People would say, why do you always save the green personality to the end? And I said, well, for one thing, that's the way I was taught to do it. That I'd still do it in the order that I was trained in. And they're like, well, it makes us feel like we're not special. And then I learned to say it this way. Of all the people in my family, of the 6 people that are quarantined in this home together, the only one that I got to choose was my green husband. And so, yes, I suppose if you asked me if I had a favorite personality, you could probably argue that I chose a green husband. So I think it's just what I needed because he provides such a great balance for me. And especially, my red side at home, I'm very, very red and I need his green to just keep me grounded. But if you've got that green, oh yeah.
It just, oops, I thought I unhid my mystery how it works. Anyway, I may pop up there, I may not, but I was just going to comment on that's in the teaching when we're doing the personality training. That's what we talk about, why we naturally are attracted to someone who is opposite from us, because that person who is opposite from us does provide us with balance.
Yep. Yeah, it's good. We've been married.
Back to you, Vickie.
We've been married almost 24 years, and it's been really helpful the last 10 or 12 that I've really understood this, because I think the first, 10 or 12 years of marriage, I would have my feelings hurt because I'd be like, why doesn't he want to spend time with me? Why does he keep leaving? Why does he, not leaving, but like going to the other room and wanting to do stuff by himself because I'm this, red, yellow, I have super high needs in the social interaction. And before we had kids or when we lived at places we didn't have, friends super nearby and our first apartment and stuff like that, I just was like, I don't understand this. And once I went through the training, I was like, oh, this makes sense. He's just got to get his cup filled up. So even the other day when he was watching TV with me, a show that I loved, and he just said, you know what, though, I need some space. I'm going to sit on the other side of the couch. And I knew not to be offended by that. He just needed it. We don't have to cuddle all the time, and I don't have to take it personally. It's not a slap in the face at me. It's just, he just needed to have his own side of the couch, and I needed to be okay with that. But yeah, your greens, like I said in the very beginning, in general, they're probably having the easiest time with this. They're happy being able to work from home, wear their pajamas all day long and not feel judged. And, you know, they're comfortable until they get to the people side of them where they do start missing the interaction, or there's certain people that they're used to having their one-on-one time with and they're not getting that. So be really sensitive to the greens, because I think and the reason I love the colors is there's different shades of green. So there's, you know, they're not all the same. So don't forget to ask the greens in your life, what do you need from me right now? Because maybe you should just take the guesswork out of it. And just,
I've asked my husband, who is a peaceful phlegmatic, I've asked him that very thing recently is, you know, what exactly, what do you need from me right now? How can I be helpful to you? How can I make your life better?
well, yeah, especially because they do have that chameleon-like ability. And sometimes they can seem okay, like they're okay with a certain thing, but only for so long. And so sometimes just asking, you know, what can I do might be your best bet to get to the heart of what it is that they are needing right now. But whatever you can do to make them feel comfortable, peaceful, so to reassure them. And again, that's going to look different depending on how they lean. If they lean blue, your greens might be asking you to take an inventory of supplies because they might need a little bit more detail to feel the peace that their personality craves. And if they lean yellow, they might need a little bit more social interaction. They might want to play a board game with you or something that feels a little bit social but still within their realm of comfort. So just ask if you're not sure. Don't feel like you, especially those of you that are watching that are other certified personality trainers, it's okay to cut yourself some slack. We don't always have the answer. We cannot 100% assess what every single person in our life needs 100% of the time. You just can't. So don't be afraid to ask that question for the people that you care about.
It's good. Good thing for us to remember. What else have we covered all four personalities we have, haven't we?
Yep, I got to do them in order. I get mixed up. So
yeah, no, I can understand. And I don't know why I'm not showing up here. I'm playing with different settings while we're trying this, but somehow I'm not showing up. So again, for those of you who have joined us, if you've got a question, this would be a good time for you to type that in and see between the two of us, or we can answer it. Or if any of you have a story that you want to share of how you've been dealing with this quarantine time, or quarantine, as I've been liking to call it. We'd love to hear from you. I show that we've got, at the moment, 7 people with us, and it's good to have you join us. And I also want to mention, while I'm waiting to see if anyone types a question, that we're going to do this again. I did one of these sessions with my friend Georgia Schaefer a couple weeks ago on the different personality systems, and then we're doing this one now on April 29th. I'm not sure what time, maybe this same time, and perhaps some of you watching can chime in and let us know if this is a good time. But we will be doing one on using the personalities in marriage ministry. And so I just kind of set that up today so I can announce it, but we'll be doing that. So Vickie, what other comments do you have that you want to share with folks on the personalities in this time of a crisis?
I just want to say, first of all, if you didn't happen to join live and you're watching the replay, feel free to add your comments. And Marita and I can both chime in, and the other trainers in the group, we can all chime in and continue the conversation, especially those of us that are the more extroverted ones. We want to keep the conversation going. So don't feel like just because you didn't happen to catch it live that it's too late to ask a question or share your story. You yellows, go ahead, share your stories. I will read them. I love them and I look forward to them. Yeah, I guess just whenever there's something big and emotions are heightened, I think that heightens different traits in the personalities. I train primarily to other people that work in the wedding and event industry, and I've worked in weddings for over 20 years. And so I talk with my clients about how when you're dealing with the personalities on a wedding day, there are so many emotions and so much pressure and so much stress, and it's magnified for everybody. It's extra important to have like that kind of self-talk before you get to the event. Oh yeah, I remember the mother of the bride is this personality. I need to make sure that I handle things this way, or I've got this personality that I'm going to be seeing, or I know the photographer is this personality, so I better make sure that I don't, step on toes, but I want to be helpful. So have a little self-talk. And I think in this situation, a lot of us just need to do that before we even leave our bedrooms, before we go downstairs or whatever it is in your case and interact with the other people that we are quarantined with, or before you hop on Zoom if you are by yourself. Just have that self-talk and just say to yourself, not everyone is like me. I know we know this, but I have to remind myself, not everybody is like me. They're all feeling something a little bit different. Even the people that are, quote, the same personality type may not be feeling the same thing that I'm feeling right now. So I want to be a better listener. I want to ask better questions. And I need to really be in tune with those clues that we tell our clients to look for when you're trying to make the educated guess about someone's personality type. Zero in on what the other person needs. And it's going to make you feel better automatically. We know this, especially you trainers that are watching, this. But hopefully this is just a good reminder, because the world is different and everybody is really extra emotional right now. And we're all processing just a little bit differently. Marita, you still there? I think we lost her now. All right. Well, I'm going to go take a peek at some of the comments. Let's see. In the spiritual side, I have a group of us doing a Bible study together, which is great. Yes, anything you can do online. Pardon me. So much has moved online. It's amazing. And anything that you could do in person, sitting around a table, we've adapted and we've found ways to do it, to do it on Zoom and to just find a way to make it happen. Let's see. My hubby is blue and red. Oh my gosh, LOL. Right now, he spends all the time between doing projects, napping, and watching his TV in his cave and taking rides. LOL. As I'm typing, he comes in and says, well, do you mind still calling on this medical bill to check it again and see if it's paid? I called yesterday to check with the lady, but I don't. I know he is dealing with more anxiety at this point, dealing with leukemia too, and postponing sinus surgery. Oh, wow, that is a lot. You're right about when things are heightened. I did weddings too over 20 years. Nice. We should definitely connect online because I'm only seeing the Facebook user. I can't see any names right now, so I'm not sure who I'm chatting with. Self-talk. Yeah, it's important. Again, even those of us that teach this and train it, we're not perfect 100% of the time. We're just not. And so we have to remind ourselves the same way we tell our clients, this is what you need to do. When I speak and share, I try to give tools for them before you go to and do a sales meeting or before you head to an event. This is, what you should say if you're facing this personality. And right now, frankly, especially those of us that are married, we're spending a lot more time with our spouse than we're probably used to. And most of us, as Marita alluded to earlier, we're likely married to someone who's an opposite personality. And so we need to be having that self-talk. Oh yeah, he's not like me. I need to make sure, in my case, I need to tone it down. Or I just need to communicate with him, hey, I've got these Zoom chats scheduled. This would be a great time for you to, take the dog on a walk or play your video game with the kids or something that I'm not going to be doing. His cave time, I think, did you call it that? You said something about in his cave during projects. Yeah, so we'll try to coordinate our schedules a little bit better. But I love being able to just hop on a call and chat with friends. So, well, this is quite an interesting situation because we lost Marita, which means I can't actually end the stream, I don't think. So maybe keep asking questions until I figure out if there is a way for me to end this or until she comes back. So I'm going to do what she did and start playing with settings and we'll see what happens. Oh, that's interesting. Nope, that's not working. I was curious what the make me a host button was going to do, and it doesn't give me the option to end this. So, Marita, are you back?